think that the Bush name is too soiled for Jeb Bush, who will be with us on the air Thursday to run for president successfully?
Jeb is a very good man, and I worked for his father, and his father and mother are very good, decent people. I wouldn't use the word soiled, but yes, I think his mother was right, that it's not time for another Bush, for a number of reasons. And I need to correct one thing and say one thing for you. I'm a fan of yours because of your old work with my old born and raised favorite idol, JP. I always enjoyed that show that you worked on.
Oh, and, yeah, he was just terrific.
I was a big fan. I will say this. By the way, I knew 7, but I actually traveled with 4 of those who held the title of Commander-in-Chief. And based on that and some additional things I have found as a journalist, I've got a lot of unique experiences that I want to write about.
I don't blame you. We'd like to read about it. What did you do for George Herbert Walker Bush?
I was, for HW, I did advance work, and it was actually in 1980 during the Reagan-Bush campaign. Mm-hmm. And I traveled with HW, and I did some traveling with my old boss, Gerald Ford, who in 1980, a lot of people don't know it, he did more travel, more miles than Ronald Reagan did during 1980, but he wanted to beat the man who beat him, and he helped Reagan do that.
Mm. You spent a lot of time, too, with George Romney. What was wrong with Mitt's campaign?
Well, I'm going to be telling that in a book I'm writing. I'm writing 2. One is entitled America Onug Gatayab, and those last 2 are acronyms, Onug being O-N-U-G for One Nation Under God, and Gatayab, G-T-H-I-A-H-B, stands for Going to Hell in a Handbasket. One America, One Nation Under God, Going to Hell in a Handbasket. And the other book is about my old but still younger friend, Tim Yenmore. He's my old friend because I've known him 50 years, and he's my younger friend because when I met him, he was 5 years younger, and as life goes on, you don't catch up. And I call him Tim Yenmore because when we did things that might have got his name in trouble back when his father was campaigning and I was on his father's staff, as a 21-year-old, Mitt was a 15 or 16-year-old, we would do things that he would say, don't introduce me as Mitt Romney, introduce me as Tim Yenmore, which is Mitt Romney spelled backwards.
I gotcha. That was his alias, sort of.
That was a youth alias and a fun name. And I still call him that. He jokes with me about that. But let me tell you, I just completed, as of the November election, the day after the November election, I completed 295 weeks of traveling and speaking all over the state of Florida and then all over the country for 2 years, 2 years in the country and for 2 years all over Florida, on behalf of the problems with the country as an economist and a public speaker and a historian and a political scientist. And I've talked about the problems of the country and what we need to do to solve them. I'm doing as many speaks, talking, and engagements now as I did before the election, and I'm talking about those subjects. Instead of focusing on Mitt Romney, it's strictly the problems with the country and where we're headed. I will be telling in my books where we're headed and what the problem is, and they'll both be listed, by the way, on Kickstarter, which is a site for artists and writers and authors and documentary people.
All right. Let us know when they're available, and we'll be sure to talk in depth about them when people can get your efforts. The other